Hey family, God bless. So recently, you guys have seen that I posted a few videos about the 144,000. And if you haven't noticed, I pulled one of those videos specifically because I had noticed that there were certain themes that kind of were close to like new age thoughts, new age theories, and obviously I don't want anything to do with that. You know, I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea or me possibly be leading anybody in any type of wrong direction. And you know, I was kind of thinking about that in the first place when I was making that video, even though it was mostly thoughts of just, you know, what I'm thinking, about all the things that the Lord has been speaking to me. And then there were things that He's been revealing to me about this whole transformation stuff and all these dreams that I've been having about it. But I was kind of unsure if some of these things that I've been getting, or not so much the dreams that I've been having, but the interpretations I was getting through like things I was being led to read and things like that, whether it was God leading me to these things or the enemy leading me to these things. So I chose to kind of put a pause on that for a minute, and because it was a lot of confusion, you know, for myself, and I needed direction. So I had prayed about it, and I was just asking the Lord for direction, so that I could continue to move forward. And because he had given me this dream, two dreams. One dream where I was taking someone to get on a boat to go to New York, and when we were driving in a car or in a van, and I had went the wrong direction when I was taking this person, and then I realized after I had turned, we had got to like an intersection, and I went the wrong way, and I realized it after the fact. So, but then I turned around to go back the right way, like I knew which way I needed to go. And then I had another dream, maybe the night after or 2 nights after, and this was a really crazy dream, but I'm not here to really talk about that so much. But just giving you some background on things that are going on, you know, personally in my own life that led me to the dream that I'm going to share with you today on this video. So, in this other dream I had, I was specifically told by someone that I was with in this dream, after we had been training, something happened and we needed to go back inside. We were outside at this point, and I rushed to go back inside, but I thought I was going the right way, and I ended up running into this jungle area again with a wilderness theme. And when I went into this area, it was very similar to the one dream where I was surrounded by wild animals. Again, I had ran into this area and it was just wild animals everywhere. And my friend had yelled out to me that I went the wrong way. So I immediately turned to go back the right way. So just based off those two dreams, I was concerned that that the Lord was trying to speak to me about maybe getting the wrong interpretation of something that He was speaking to me, and that I was going the wrong way with it. And I felt as though it had something to do with that video that I pulled. So But anyway, long story short, last night he gave me a dream that I believe was answer to the things I was seeking him in prayer. And it was very deliberate, should I say, what he showed me. It was very on point with the things that I have been dealing with. So I'm not going to share the whole dream. I'm just going to share the important parts of it. But I believe it has something to do with the 3 days of darkness, because I had been thinking about that, the whole transformation thing. And one of the things I was unsure about was whether the things I was getting about this transformation were from the Lord or from the enemy, because, I want to turn away from the whole idea of us being or being transformed into angels. I don't really believe that that's something the Lord is leading me to. But the transformation is clear. That is definitely of God, a message and interpretation from the Holy Spirit, because I specifically was shown this in this dream. So in this dream, it was like chaos going on, like outside, and I had started off I was outside and doing some things, but I'm going to skip some of this stuff. And I knew that some creatures or beings or something like that showed up to the earth, and they were taking people. And so then skipping to the point where I was now with this small group of guys, and we were in this house. And as I was saying, like, there was chaos going on outside, and I got this phone call from heaven or from God. I'm not really specifically sure that it was directly God, but it was a message from God. But it was a phone call. I knew I was speaking to someone in heaven, and the person on the phone told me specifically, gave me like direction and instruction. So I know this was a answer to my prayer. And there was so much that went on in this dream, I can't remember it all, like every detail, but I do remember some very important details. And one of those is what part of what was told to me on this phone call. The person said something like, the transformation begins at something, something, something. That something, 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 I don't remember what was said. I wish I could, but I had relayed that information to the group of guys I was with while I was on the phone with them. Like, I yelled out to them, hey, the transformation begins, yada, yada, yada. So I knew that, I didn't specifically know that it was Friday, but I knew that the day that this transformation was going to begin was Saturday, and it was going to be the next day. So obviously it was Friday in the dream, and I had this dream on Friday night, and so I thought that was very symbolic or important. But what I was told, or I knew that this transformation was going to begin on Saturday or sometime Saturday or something like that. So after I relayed this information to the guys, they were kind of confused, like, what are you talking about? But we were walking through this hallway, and then we went into this small room, and I was like so excited, just super, super excited about this information, because I knew, like, that this was answering my prayer about these things that I had been talking or asking God about. And I was like telling the guys, I was like, I told you that we were going to transform. I told you. And I had said to them that I had, I was like when I had the dream of where we were, that I was going to be glowing. And I told them that I knew I was going to be glowing, and it was going to be a bright light. And then I looked up at the ceiling, and there was a white fluorescent light on the ceiling. And I was like, just like that light, we're gonna be glowing, or I'm gonna be glowing just like that light. And I said, but the only difference is it's going to be sparkles around it. And what I was remembering that dream that I shared in the video about that. I think it was the rapture, one of the rapture dreams I was talking about, where I saw all the people and they were like this like yellow glowing bright color. And the thumbnail of that video has that person transforming into like that bright yellow color, and it's like sparkles coming off of them. And I saw that in this dream as I was saying that I was going to be glowing. And that was one of the things that I had asked the Lord about a while back when I was studying. I had came across us being, glowing, like being bright, as it says we're going to be bright like stars. And I was wondering if this was a literal brightness, a literal glowing, or is it going to be more like a symbolic glowing, like we're going to stand out. But I'm believing from what he spoke to me in this dream is that it's going to be a literal, like a actual physical light emitting from us, which is the light of God. And because he's going to be empowering us through the Spirit, and this empowerment is going to be physically seen. So, and this is one of the reasons why people are going to be so scared of us at this time, scared of these select people that are going to be transformed, because it's going to be something they've never seen before. Like all these miraculous things are going to be happening. These supernatural things are going to be, done through us at this time. And, all these supernatural abilities and things that I've been talking about. So, I digress, but some of the guys were very confused, I noticed, in this dream as I was telling them. And I realized, or I could tell that some of them, this was like brand new to them. They were not prepared for this. They had not really had the time, as a lot of us have, to be prepared to learn these things, as the Lord's been giving us information and leading us to different studies and different things in the scriptures that giving us understanding on what it's going to be like, and how these things are going to occur, and what we're going to be doing. But some of the select few it's going to just boom, and they're going to be like, yo, what's going on? What is happening right now? So that's why the Lord's been specifically giving me the position to help prepare a lot of the 144,000 and, the select few that are going to be transformed at that time, so that they're ready. So, they'll be ready to go when that time comes. So so then, like I was saying, they didn't really understand what was going on, but we had to hide. For the meantime, we were hiding in this house, or in this little room, because we knew that the enemy had found out who we were. And was searching for us to destroy us. But there was some type of alien beings or something that had arrived on Earth. Obviously, they were the fallen angels, but in dream, I knew them as some type of like alien beings or something. And as we know, this is some of the things that have been talked about in theory that is possibly going to be how we're going to see, how the world is going to see the fallen angels coming down as aliens. You know, something that they typically push, they've been pushing, you know, this whole alien and UFO things that people see, you know, that's nothing but demons in disguise. So, and that's what they're going to see. They're going to see this arrival as we keep seeing these type of movies, and these beings are going to come, and these people are going to see these things. But then they're going to start taking people, or, you know, and people are going to start disappearing, and that's what was happening in the dream. People were being taken and disappearing and things. And there was a lot more detailed things that were happening, but I can't remember it all. So somehow something happened where all the guys that I was with had left the house or something, or I don't know if they went off to battle, or they went on a mission, or they were taken to do some, you know, training, or I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but I was the only one left in the house at this point, and I was in the basement and I was getting food, and I noticed that there was this big hole in the wall near me, and I looked over and I saw this little dog dressed in this costume hiding under the crawl space. And I then heard this big thump, and I instantly knew that it was the foot of some giant creature that was walking around outside near the house. And I heard the thumping coming closer, so I had tried to keep quiet, but then I was thinking that it might smell the food that I had from the hole that was in the wall. But so I had just kind of waited there for a minute, and nothing happened. And then I think I woke up somewhere after that. And I was like just kind of thinking about all this stuff, and I had a vision quick where I saw 333 again. And I've explained to you guys before about what 333 means for me specifically. Is the warning for me, God usually telling me to warn the people as a watchman on the wall, speaking of Ezekiel 33. And so I knew that specifically he wanted me to share this dream with everybody as soon as possible. But I also felt as though I had an understanding that it has something to do with the 3 days of darkness. So I felt as though he was giving me a confirmation that that dream that I just shared with you guys was specifically having to do with the 3 days of darkness. So there we have the 3 days of darkness, transformation, and all the other things that have been spoke about happening during 3 days of darkness, the chaos that's going to go on outside, the fallen angels and demons being, you know, out and about. That's why I think this big footprint thumping that I heard was maybe some demonic being walking around, maybe maybe the dragon. I'm not really sure, but either way, or it could even been a giant. I don't know. I had a dream about that recently too, but that's a whole nother story. So either way, I had to share this because it's very exciting. Sorry I went way longer than I really was trying to go, but I just really wanted to get this out because it is confirmation for me that the transformation of the 144,000 or the select few, because I saw that it was a small group, is definitely of guys, is definitely going to happen. And it was funny that I saw that it was on a Saturday because Saturday's the Sabbath. So possibly this could happen on a Sabbath. But I really feel as though this was direct information from God, from heaven. Maybe an angel that was sent to send me a message from God. I don't know. But I specifically know I was speaking to somebody from heaven on the phone. They gave me this information. They told me, like, on a serious note, the transformation begins when blah, 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 blah. And I think it says something like the transformation begins at the face of 3, or the eye of 3, or the eye of dawn. I don't really know. I don't want to just make something up and give you false information, but it was something like that. But I definitely remember the transformation begins at blah, blah, blah. So God is saying this transformation is truth. This is truth, and it's going to happen, and it's coming soon. And to be ready for it, be prepared. So I love you guys. God bless you, and I'll talk with you soon.